Hi everyone, Dominic here and welcome to another video from Solid Visual. In this video, I'm going to take you through the process of developing this facade in ArchiCAD. With that being said, let's jump straight into it. Alright, subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to start this demonstration by trying to come up with a structure that we're going to use for creating this facade. So I'm going to use the slab tool to create a footprint. By the use of rectangular geometry method, let's draw a footprint of our structure. I'm going to go with measurements of, or dimensions of 20 meters, which is 2000 millimeters. Then the width of 9 meters or 9,000, and hit enter. So I'm going to copy this to the story 1. Let's open story 1 and paste this there. Click outside the marquee to complete the operation. If we check this on 3D, we have 2 floors. Let's select all these slabs and set the structure to just basic, right? Perfect. So I'm gonna just appreciate the results. From here, I'm going to right click in one of the stories and go to story settings, or Control 7 as a shortcut key. From here, I'm going to adjust the levels to 4000 because this seem to be a commercial building. So I'm going to rename this. Let's rename this to roof level. Perfect. So automatically the slab will be adjusted because it's been it's been linked to the home story. Hence, that adjustment will be automated. Okay, if you go to the ground, I was saying this looks like it's a commercial structure, either being it a office space or a pavilion or any public space you would think of. So from here we need to place some walls. I'm going to activate wall tool and use the default structure just to place a wall on this side, and I'm gonna do it again on this side. Check on 3D. This is what we have. Perfect. All right, from here we need to place the glazing. So if you look at our structure, we have this glazing, full glazing. So to achieve this, I'm going to use curtain wall tool. With the use of single geometry method, let's place this curtain wall tool there. Perfect. If you select it, the default settings of curtain wall tool, we have this issue of the reference line. It's accurately placed, and then look at the position of the frames. They are beyond the reference line, which creates a problem of clashing. So if we go to 3D as well, you would see our frame is beyond the region of our glazing. So to solve that, or to address the problem, let's go to, and this is either on, it's on both sides, sorry. So to achieve this, let's go to the settings and curtain wall system. Here within the member placement section, let's insert this, or insert the boundary, so that this can be controlled from the inside. And then once again, we need to flip our curtain wall to the inside so that it can be within the accurate position of our region. So if you go to the 3D, you will have to adjust the height. Unfortunately, with curtain wall, I like the wall tool, where we can link the top part of our element. For the curtain wall, we don't have that feature. It's only for from the bottom. We can't link the top. So this normally we'll have to adjust it manually by stretching or by adjusting the elevation. Perfect. So from here we need to set up this curtain wall design or pattern to mimic what we see here on the image. So we have to analyze this, we have to break down this, we have 1, 2, 3 lines of our transom, or 3 lines of panels or panel rows. Okay, so let's see how we can mimic that. I would like to see to zoom in here so that this becomes visible in our screen or window. So let's go to the settings of our curtain wall, and then under scheme setting, I'm going to load one of the favorites here. You can reuse one of the defaults here. You can also create your own patterns and link or list them here as favorites. I have that. I'll put the link on the description for you to download the different scheme settings of curtain walls that I've created before. Check the link on the description and download that. So to set up a new scheme, you have to reuse this. I could start with the empty one, but I would like to reuse the checkerboard of 1000 by 1000, basically a meter by a meter. So double click on it to load it to your scheme settings panel. From here, because it's a checkerboard, so we have the opposite panels are the same, and then the other ones are in different also material. So I want them to be in the same material, so I'm going to select one of this and then come here and select all vertical, then select all horizontal. You see here another panel parameter. The components here, they vary. We want them to be one, to be unique, to be in the same material. So it's going to be under the main panel, right? So if you hit OK, you would see now this in 3D like that, but this doesn't really address this pattern we want of this arrangement. So I'm gonna go back, and because we have 3 rows, remember that we've counted, we need to set the 3 rows here. Currently we have 2, 1, 2. This is achieved by setting out the height on the height section. So I'm gonna add another row so that we can have 3. And then if you look at the way this is being arranged, so I would assume this one, it's roughly at height of 1.5, and then this is to accommodate the height of a door, which is 2 meters, and then this we can estimate as well, maybe 1.5 to 1.8 depending on the result. So I'm gonna set the first one to be a 1.5, then following, which is 2, should be roughly around 500 to what, to accommodate 2000 of our door height. And then the third one should be 1.8 because it's much bigger than, or even 2 meters. Do you think it's 2 meters? No, I think maybe let's set it to 1.5. This can be 1.2, and this 3000. So if you put all this together, it has to be the height of our floor, which is 4 meters, and it calculates for you here. So roughly, currently we are at 3 meters, so we need another panel, another row of panels at the top. Let's set it, and then this should be roughly 500. Okay, so we are left with 500 because we're at 3.5 for now. I'm going to say let's make this 600 because it looks like it's a bit ideally they should be the same height, these two, but by the look of things, this one is much bigger than that one. So I'll set it at 600, fine. Then we're at 3.6. Then this let's make it 4, and this make it 1.3. So we're left with 200. So I can distribute this 200 here. Maybe make this 500. This one 1.4. Yes, 1.4 makes this 1. But the height of these two altogether should be at 2 meters. Maybe let's make this 1.5 so that we have this 2 meters, and this we make it 400. No, let's make it 500, right? And this we make them equal, or maybe, yes, let's make them equal, and then hit OK once you're done. So if we check on 3D, you will have something like this. It's not pretty much the same height. We can confirm on 3D the height of this should be 2 meters, right? Yeah, this is 2 meters. And then maybe I might need to adjust the height of the floor a little bit. Let's make it 4 meters, but it's fine for commercial building. Or maybe make it 4.5 high. Yes, and then we can stretch this all the way to there. Something like that. Let's go back, and because now we have 4.5, so this is fine as 2 meters, 1.5 plus 500, and then this we're gonna make it 1.8, and then this 700, something like this. Okay, it makes sense. It makes sense. I might reduce the third panel to be 1.5 as well. Yeah. All right, something like that. So we need to take this over to that side. I'm going to either Control Shift M to mirror a copy. I'm going to use the midpoint of my wall to mirror it that side. If you confirm on 3D, you will have this kind of a box building. Okay, so from here, let's move on and create the panels, the facade. If you look at this facade, it's a continuous feature to the roof as well. So we'll have to achieve that. To achieve that, let's say we're gonna count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 members, or 10 members of this facade. So I'll start by creating the facade first, and then the roof will be derived within the width of these elements. So to achieve this, I'm going to copy. Let's Control Shift D and copy this curtain wall, and then move it outside by 1 meter, because if you look at this, there should be a space between. There's quite a significant space between the glazing and then the feature. I don't know if for a person to pass, but it looks small, it looks tiny. I think we can analyze it better from this image. Okay, not that too much though, maybe around 600. I'm gonna move this back by 400. Okay, and then let's go to the 3D, and I'm going to open the settings of this. Let's go to the favorites. While we are still under the scheme settings, let's go to favorites and load again the checker box, or we can use an empty. Let's start by using an empty scheme like this. Select the empty scheme, change the panel to be main panel. Okay, and then we can, if you hit OK, this is what you'll get. It will be just the main panel without some patterns inside, but I want it to be a panel of aluminium. So I'm gonna go here under panels, then let's set the materials under curtain wall panel settings. Change this to aluminium, right? Hit OK. It will be now solid like that. Perfect. So from here now we need to mimic these shapes, these geometries, right? So to do that, I'm gonna select this. I think the best way is to do it on elevation. So I'm gonna select my images, copy, then take this image or select this elevation, right click and open with current view settings, so that we do it here. Let's right click and paste our images to reference easily here. I'm gonna just put them there. I might add, scale them down a bit. Let's just scale them a bit. The shortcut key for scaling is Control K. You just select and then hit Control K on your keyboard. It will give you this resize window, and then you don't necessarily need to bother much with this, parameters. Just hit OK and then adjust to a desired scale. Okay, so from here, let's we can quickly mimic these patterns, right, by sketching on our elevations. So I will say I'm gonna start with this one. So we're gonna have it somewhere here. Maybe I'm going to place my cursor on this point, so that to a point where the ArchiCAD circles that corner. So now I can move based on the dimensions. I can even key in the dimensions that I want. So let's say I'm going to start at 1 meter. So this is 1 meter. Oh, sorry. What's it doing? 1 meter. Hit enter. Oh, sorry. Let's start again. Hover for ArchiCAD to circle the corner, and then we'll move. What's it doing? Then we want to move this by 1 meter. Yes, it will pick us 1 meter. Then from there we'll need to draw. It's a slanting line that for now I'm gonna set the length to be 48.14, and then the angle, let's say 85 degrees. Yeah, something. And then we move on to this width. The width might be 1 meter as well. And then if we go up, like that, something like that. But this needs to be parallel to that one, right? So I'm going to take this line, draw a parallel line here, Control D, place it there, so that I can adjust my polyline like that one. I can get rid of this, select this. Let's change the color for these lines, yes, to something like that. Okay, so yeah, and but this one looks more defined, so I can maybe add a 400. Right, so we move on to the next item. We can Control Shift D and copy this one and create a significant space between. Let's move by maybe 300. And if you look at on the image, these two lines are parallel, right? And we can bring this one to there and then get rid of this point like that. Okay, let's select this, Control Shift D again to make a copy. This time around, I'm gonna create a space of 1 meter because this looks, but they looks the same. Do you think so? Do you think the spacing? I don't think it's the same. Okay, for the sake of the video, I will have to estimate, but don't crucify me for that. And then this side, I'm gonna bring it to maybe straight, and like that. I think it's something like this. I'm trying to mimic what I see here. Okay, and it looks quite big. I would want to believe this is straight. All right. Okay, and then we have the third one. The third one is more like a mirror of this one. Let's Control Shift M to mirror, and then move it to create space. 500. Now 500 is too much. Let's bring it back by 300, because if you look at the bottom here, it is when it goes up to create more spacing. So I'm gonna manually move this by 400. Yes, something like that. The fifth one, right, is a copy of this, if I'm not mistaken. 300. I hope this will be equally distributed along the length of this. We can always come back and adjust if it's not fitting, as long as we can come up with the geometries quickly. And then next will be followed by this one, spacing of 300, and but when it goes up, it changes the angle. Maybe I can rotate this like that. No, I think I might need to move this a bit further by 1 meter and rotate this one by 9. Yeah, something like this, and then fix the bottom and the top part. Okay, let's see. Yeah, pretty much that. And then what's following is pretty much the same with this one. Control Shift M. Let's move it further by 1 meter, and there's quite significant space at the top there. So maybe it's an issue of something like that. Okay, and then this will be followed by a mirror of that as well, but I can just copy this, Control C, and place it here. Let's move it by 500. And if you look at this on the image here, there's a significant space at the bottom. Maybe I should have mirrored this. Control M to mirror, like that. and then fix the top, then the bottom. Let's see. You can just adjust this manual, yeah, something, and then from there followed by the straight one. Let me copy this one. Control Shift D, straight one. Spacing of 300. Last but not least is the same pattern here, and might take from here. Control Shift D, and goes all the way. Goes all the way like that. Then move it somewhere there. I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna take this one. Let me try on this one and see. No. What about this? I think I could have. Yes, this will make sense. This will make sense. Yes, this will make sense. Let me see if this. The idea here is to, randomize these features, and then from there we need to offset them at the top, maybe. But I think if you look at here, this should be 300. Let me say 500. So all this needs to be at this height. Like that. It's an interesting exercise. I can't wait for the result. I haven't tried this before. This is the first time trying it, guys. So it's good that whatever challenges we're encountering here, you would see my approach. And also, I need you to be part of this. Let me know in the comment section what approach you might deploy in certain areas in addressing some situations. Okay, once we have this, we need to transfer this information to our curtain wall, and then our curtain wall also needs to be at this height. Let's stretch it all the way to the top. So that information needs to be transferred even at the bottom here. Oh, sorry. Let me undo. The best way is to drop it down and stretch the top like that. Okay, and then what else again? Okay, I'm going to select the curtain wall element and then open its settings. What we need to do here, if you look at the scheme, it's just an empty panel. It's just a panel without the frames. So what you need to do is to insert another width. So we can quickly say this width of 1 meter, and if you hit OK, let's see, we don't have series of that there, but if you go back, this we need to select it and then we make it a division. So we have how many divisions? 1, which is here. So I need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 divisions. But before we decide on that one, before we move ahead with the approach of the division, let's go to edit first. I'm going to click on this edit, and then if I select, already we have this division, right? but we can also we can't edit this. Okay, under scheme grids, yes, we can select this grid and then maybe move it, but we can't stretch it. I mean, we can't define the angle, right? So this approach won't work. So I'm gonna hit exit and go back again to the curtain wall settings. Instead of using the division, now let's make the division a transom. Okay, so if you go back here, let's hit edit, then select this, or just use your frame and try place the frames on these elements like that. I'm gonna just do it that way. The frames will be automatically divide this by segments. So this one will be here, and then that. I'm gonna zoom in to be precise. This and that. Okay, so we have now the last one. This one needs to go. What I need to do is to select the scheme grid and maybe activate the arrow tool, select the border, and I'm going to wrap this around here. And so, oops, there is a problem there. Let's undo. Yeah, I think the problem, we need to get rid of this frame. Let's activate the frame tool. Okay, let me delete the frame and go back to the boundary and stretch it to there, stretch it to there. Wow, what happened? Okay, I see. So the best way, we're having an issue here. So the best way, let me hit exit and select the curtain wall, go back to the settings. From here, instead of having frames, let's go to frames. Instead of having a boundary frame, a built-in frame, I'm going to say invisible frame. Then hit OK so that you can get rid of that one. So if we edit again and activate the scheme grid, let's see if we select this. Oh, scheme grid does not. What happened? This can be a problem as well if you, oh, there we go. So I'm going to pick it from there, stretch it here, also stretch it there. Wow. Everything becomes moved. Let's do it also this side. But I think the mistake that I'm realizing, we could have done this before we've placed our frames, and then they've disappeared, the frames. Let's hit exit. So we still have this division. I'm going to get rid of the division under the scheme settings. So I'm going to make this as or maybe let's say get rid of this, hit OK. Yes, and then let's go back again and see if that's possible. Let's activate the frame tool and draw frames as well. But we can't draw frames because they are invisible. That's the problem, or that's the challenge. If you go back, let's maybe select this, go to frames, the transforms up, make this a transform, make this a transform, then hit OK. So if we go back, so we can't. And it's not possible. It's not possible. I think the best thing is to have a, let me know in the comment section your approach to this, but let me do this non-matched. Then I'm going to use again the boundary. Yes, and edit. Let's place this. It's not possible as well. Okay, there we go. I'm not too sure why this is okay. That is, I think it works. The idea, oh, why are you not? All right, I should start from the inside of the boundary frame. That's very key, guys. Like that, like that. And this underneath. Okay, so I think by going through the challenges together, you kind of have different ways of approaching or doing things in ArchiCAD. It kind of helps as well to really open up the possibilities that ArchiCAD can tend to bring, you know, when you are forced to be creative. Okay, from here now we need to, because we have this empty spaces or negative spaces within our curtain, we need to address that. But if you hit exit, so to achieve, to appreciate the result, you will have something like this. Okay, and let me do flip so that this becomes on the outside. We'll have something like that. All right, so let's go back to our elevation, edit, and remove the frames or the negative frames. I'm just gonna select and select a panel, then delete a panel, just like this. This is very interesting. Okay, then that, this is what you get, and that's where now we can get rid of our frames. So if you go here under boundary, under frames, let's say the boundary should be invisible, and we don't want to have the transom and also the mullen. Hit OK. So we'll have a clean panels like that. But if we look at our images, we still have the little patterns inside these geometries as well that needs to be achieved. It's gonna be interesting. But before we do that, I want us to complete our roof. So this, I'm going to go to a floor plan. I think let's do it from the roof level. Let me measure. I think the space also still too big, or maybe under curtain wall settings, set this to be 0. Yes, and then see the space 600. Control M, Control Shift M to mirror it to the other side, and wow, I'm going to have a problem because I will have to reference the patterns on floor plane, but I can do it on 3D as well using just the slab tool. For example, with the geometry method of this, I can just do that, draw over this. Maybe the structure will be basic, the material will be aluminum, and the height should be a sizable sheet. So if you move to that side, I don't know. The disadvantages of working on 3D is precision. That will be our enemy at this level. But we are determined to get the results we want. Nothing should stop us. Nothing shouldn't stop us. I'm just gonna copy this. Copy that. Stretch. Copy this. Stretch. Copy that one. Last but not least. Wow. We made it. Okay. All right. So we're moving on with the. But let me know what you think, guys, in the comment section. I think this is. If you look at our images, we have. Where are they? These tend to have. Obviously, to have what you call. Some framing inside. We can't have just a steel plate like that. So we'll have some framing. I could see a frame here that goes up around and go that way. So to achieve that, we gonna go back and bring our frames back. So I'm gonna use the butt-in glazed for both the mullion and the transom. and we could set the sizes of these frames here. 80 by maybe 200 is too big, so I'm gonna go for 100, just like that. Yes, and then hit OK. So we'll now have our frames around our panels. Now the challenge is we don't want them to be visible from the outside. They has to be hidden. So to achieve this, I'm going to select this and click on edit. If it's possible, I could select all the frames by activating the frame tool and then hit Control A. So in here we can it doesn't give me all the properties. Okay, I'll have to select them manual. So let's say this frame, let me select all. I don't know, this is the pen I'll have to endure, because selecting them all, it picks also the extra divisions for the panels, and then we don't want that. We just need the frames, and we're going to set this the offset, the frame offset, to be minus let's do it minus 80. Oh, sorry, minus 80, so that they become hidden like that. Okay, so that's cool. I'm gonna hit exit. Perfect. So now we need to adjust our slabs to accommodate the changes like that, but this we could do it at a later stage, but for now I want us to focus on that. So from here, what we need to do, because this frame needs to continue all the way to the underside of the slab, for example, you will have a beam of the same size. This will be for aluminum, and the height, I made it 100, then this was 80. So you could place this by press your spacebar key to activate the magic wand key, and then click on the element like that. So you now have this one, we don't need of it. So we now have this and that. This we can come here on the and set the axis to be on the inside. Yes, and you can control, the good part of this, you can control the depth as well, or align it with the top of the frame, and this should be done on the elevation. Where is it? Which part is that one? Okay, it's this one. I want to, okay, this is the beam. Yes, for example, we can move this beam in a way that it doesn't show in the inside, and with the beam also it can follow the profile of it can follow the profile of the too many things here. Is it? Yes, I was working on a different let's delete this, on a different elevation. Okay, So I was saying the good part of what is this? The good part of the beam, you could also rotate it. You could also rotate it to follow the profile of our beam, like so. And then drop it down. Yes, something like that. And okay, so I want us to move on and create the patterns, because if you look at the images, we have the patterns as well. That is going to be challenging, but we need to achieve that. It's going to be challenging, but it needs to be done. It needs to be done. Okay, so I'm going to select this, open its settings, and there are two ways of creating patterns. You could create a you could find a pattern, which I will advise. Find a pattern of steel online. Let's do that. I'm gonna pause this video and find a pattern, and then come here and I'll show you how to load the pattern. Right. Alright, I didn't find precisely something that it's represent what we have in images, but something to work around with. So I'm going to go to element attributes, then surfaces. On our surfaces, let's create a new surface, but I want to group it under steel, so I'm gonna search for steel or aluminium. Let's go for aluminium. Select aluminium, duplicate. I would say perforation. How do you spell perforation? Perforation or perforated, sorry. Okay, and then go to texture. I'm going to load the texture, add, locate it to the folder. Facade, here's the texture, load it, hit OK, and select this, open its settings, go to panels, then activate the surfaces, search for aluminium, hit OK, something like this. Not bad. Yeah, we can, if time allows us, we can, detail this accordingly, gentlemen, and then fix issues of this corners or joints. And then there is another tricky method, which is using the curtain wall settings to create that pattern. For example, you go to settings, and then under scheme, we create patterns. So we'll still work around a square, panel, but this time around we're introducing other parts like that, and then we add a division. How many do we need? We need 4. We need 4. Okay, for example, I'll select this panel. I'll select this divisions, right? Then select all. Then select the horizontal one. And select all. And change this to divisions, right? So that I can select each panels. And then within each panel, I will have to create this frame. But if you look, okay, let me, wow, that will automatically destroy everything that we have. I think that won't work. The surface one will be the best, because even the file size won't be ridiculous. So I wanted to show you that. I'll explore it further in the next tutorial and then share it if there's other alternatives to create the pattern and then divide it the way we've achieved it on this side. Okay. Thank you for watching. If you made it to this end, I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Check the links to download resources, assets that you can use to optimize your workflow. You can also download this project file and the link on the description under our Patreon membership platform.